I mean, it was this, you get people scared and they'll vote a certain way. And yeah, so, yeah, amazing times though. Yeah.
As a journalist, do you look at these times and say, this is great for business? Or do you more so look at it as a human being and go, this is just a fucking mess, and I wish we weren't so ridiculous?
So when I first started covering the Trump campaign, I thought this is the most awesome thing ever, because that dynamic I was talking about before about reporters wanting to be on the ground floor with the future winner. Nobody wanted to be on the Trump campaign because nobody thought he was going to win. I was stoked to be assigned to cover Trump because I thought this is the most insane thing ever, and he, maybe
perfect
he's not,
for your style of journalism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I thought this is the black comedy that I was sort of born to cover and born to write. And for the first, I don't know, 5 or 6 things that I wrote about it, about Trump, I thought it was the most amazing, crazy, interesting story of my lifetime. And then it took this incredibly dark turn where he actually won. And
I think it was a dark turn for him too.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, I knew some of the people in his campaign. I can't say this definitively, but I have a very good educated guess that they had absolutely no expectation of it ever even being close, let alone winning, and that they did this as a publicity stunt in the beginning, probably with the aim of either creating a media network or just bolstering Trump's overall Q rating or whatever it was.
I think NBC might have pushed him towards the presidency by firing him from The Apprentice.
Yeah.
Because he was still the host of that fucking show while he was running for president. They fire him, and then Arnold takes over. People forgot already that Arnold Schwarzenegger was, for a very short time, you're fired. You're fired. You're fired. He was the guy for a while.
Yeah, they had that flame war, remember?
Yes,
yeah, that was really weird.
Yeah, fucking strange.
Yeah.
But NBC might have given him the final, you might have taken an extra diet pill that day and went, fuck it, we're going all in. The wall got 10 feet higher. Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger says he's done with The Apprentice, blames poor ratings on Trump involvement. Oh, that's hilarious.
That's right. Yeah, they had that whole back and forth over who was to blame for the ratings. But
listen, as a host of that show, Donald Trump was great. He was the perfect guy as the host of that show. Arnold's too nice. It's not the right guy. He's not a billionaire asshole.
Yeah, you need a total jackass.
Yeah.
And
get it done. One of those guys. You need one of those guys. You're fired.
And the same thing that made Trump perfect for that show made him perfect as the main protagonist in campaign coverage, which is actually really just a really long, super boring reality show, or at least it used to be until Trump came along. Trump completely changed the dynamic of it. If you're thinking of it in terms of how it looks to a network, what were the networks thinking before? If they were going to have people like Scott Walker and Lindsey Graham be the stars of their lead reality show, let's get a real performer in there, right?
Yes.
And when they did, when Trump entered the fray and became a real candidate and started getting votes, suddenly news started making money, like real money for the first time. And there's an amazing data point right now, which is that the public trusts the press less than ever, right? They believe the things that we say less than ever. All the polls show this, that there's been a dramatic downturn in how much people will put stock in the things that people like me say, right? But they're watching television news more than they ever have, by a lot. So what do those two data points put together? That people are consuming news not as news, but as entertainment. They're watching it more, right? So we've CNN made over $1 billion last year. They're just eating into the entertainment budget. That's all they're doing, and it's all Trump, which is fascinating and kind of horrifying, but really interesting too.
Well, isn't that also what he played upon when he was running? Like, he would say outrageous shit so they would cover him, and that essentially gave him free press.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And there was no doubt in my mind that he was doing that intentionally. I remember watching him in New Hampshire where he's giving a speech, and you probably remember this. This woman stood up and said, "Ted Cruz is a pussy." Right?
Yes, I do.
And Trump looks over at her and he says, "Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. She just said a terrible thing about Ted Cruz." Right? And I remember him looking over at the riser where all the cameras are, and you could see him thinking. He's thinking, it's a story for 6 hours if she says it. It's a story for 3 days if I say it. Right?
Right.
And he thinks and he goes, "She just said that Ted Cruz is a pussy." Right, and next thing you know, it like completely dominated the news, and he understood the dynamic of how the news works better than even the people in the news understood it.
Well, certainly better than Ted Cruz.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Ted Cruz, the recent praise of Trump, and then they go back to like what he said during the campaign.
Oh my God,
It's no one should ever listen to him ever again about anything.
Oh yeah, no, it's hilarious. Ted Cruz, first of all, my favorite part of that whole campaign was the thing that he couldn't shake about being the Zodiac killer. Like, and reporters would give him shit about it. Like we would talk amongst each other, like, who's going to ask him about it next,
Right.
and everybody knew that it was bullshit, that he was born after the killing started and everything,
Right.
and all that stuff. But somebody would always make it a point to say, "So what do you think about the rumors about?" And you could see that it completely drove him to distraction. He didn't know how to make a joke out of it, or yeah.